How many nights have you come home from work alone in your house, alone in your bed, thinking, dang, it would be really nice to have someone here with me right now. It would be really nice for someone to just care about me and to really listen to what I have to say, to listen to how my day was, to hear me rant about work, or to hear what my goals are, what my ideas are for the future. But in reality, most guys just don't have that nowadays. And that's why male loneliness is at an all-time high. And it's probably not going to be slowing down anytime soon, just based off of where we are at in a variety of things. And there's a few reasons for this. I am not a relationship expert. I am not a pickup artist, anything like that. But after talking with so many hundreds of men over the last 7 years about how lonely their lives are, the amount of people that have gotten divorces, gotten cheated on, have had all these things happen to them where they just feel like crap about themselves, and it hinders their ability and their mindset to believe that there is someone else out there for them. I've talked to broke guys, I've talked to rich guys, I've talked to out of shape guys, I've talked to extremely in shape guys. It almost does not matter which demographic you are coming from. Male loneliness is at its peak right now. And it really sucks to see that because there is so much potential from so many different guys that I've talked to where it's like you have so much harder of a work ethic, you have so much more of a discipline than 95% of people. You can do so many great things, but the thing holding you back from actually accomplishing a lot of those things is because you don't have a woman there by your side. And it's kind of weird. It kind of sucks to see that. I think a lot of the reason for that being is because guys are so focused on just chasing tail and just trying to get something quick in all the time. And they spend so much time focusing on these other women and these other people, and they're just not focused on themselves. Now, obviously, the more shots you take, the more success you are likely to see. I mean, shoot, if you throw 20 darts at a dartboard, there's a chance you might hit a bullseye. But at the same time, if you threw one or two darts, yeah, you probably aren't going to hit that bullseye or see as much success with that being more accurate. So I get the idea of just taking shots out there and trying to do what you can do because that will actually increase your results. But at the same time, that doesn't necessarily increase your quality. If you are looking for a quality woman, or a lot of my guys, they like to, my clients especially, they are looking for a wife. They are looking for someone to spend the rest of their lives with. Because after you do a certain amount of quantity, it starts to become very numbing and you realize it's not as fulfilling as you thought it was going to be. It's a very fleeting feeling for a lot of them as they describe it. But the problem with all this is when you spend so much time thinking and focusing on other people, you're not putting nearly as much energy into thinking and focusing on yourself, your body, your career, what you are trying to develop skill wise. Anything like that, your relationships with friends and family. So you're spending a lot of wasted energy and a lot of wasted time in something that sometimes requires a little bit of luck. And what I notice is that with my guys who tend to focus on themselves first, where they do get lean, they do lose a bunch of fat, they do lose a bunch of muscle, they're put in a much better position to start attracting more people, anyways. And I don't just mean people in like a relationship manner, I mean like people actually will treat them differently. Like they will show them a different kind of respect. Other guys will start to respect them, other women will start to flock to them at the bar, that sort of thing. And that's literally just because they focus on their health. That's not even them practicing other areas of their life. Because a lot of times when you get healthy, when you get lean, when you start to develop abs and you start to see veins on your arms, and people will start to turn and look at you, people start to ask you questions. At first, it's like, hey, have you lost a little bit of weight? And then it's like, oh man, you're hitting the gym pretty hard, dude. Like I see your shoulders growing. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, can you show me how you got so lean and built so much muscle and lost all that fat? And you start to see that change over time. And that's something a lot of my clients have started to realize too, is that it has changed over time. So if you are feeling that lonely, chances are you probably have a lot more free time on your hands anyways. So instead of filling that free time with, letting yourself be lonely or putting yourself in a position to think about that, try being productive in some way, shape, or form, whether that's developing a new skill, whether that's going to the gym. Sometimes you just have to literally distract yourself instead of eating bad foods or watching stupid things on the internet. Like maybe you should actually try to eat healthy. Maybe you should actually try to raise your testosterone. This is another problem too. A lot of guys, after a while, they'll start getting so overweight and so demotivated, their testosterone tanks. They feel like they have no drive. They feel like they have no purpose on top of that. And because of that, they don't even attempt to talk to people anymore, talk to women anymore, that sort of thing. Like I said, I'm not a relationship expert, but this is just what I've learned over the years talking to so many different guys in so many different positions and how they've been able to maneuver that and the guys who have been successful with maneuvering that. So when you're overweight, when your testosterone is tanked, when you don't have that drive, you don't even want to talk to other people anymore, that also makes you far less attractive and increases your chances of staying lonely to where it's like you almost accept defeat. Like someone's foot is literally just on your head, pushing you into the ground. Like you don't want to be in that submissive position, if you will, that position of defeat, because that's not fun. Now let's take the guys who are in shape, who are lean, for example, the people who do get relationships and have this success with that. A lot of times the reason those guys begin to feel so lonely is because they get comfortable in the relationship that they're in. And that's not good either. That's the opposite end of the spectrum where you either aren't doing anything, you're very lonely, but you're also not trying and you're not focusing on yourself. And then the flip side of it is where you were focused on yourself, you were locked in, you were doing all these things, your career was on a great trajectory, your body was on a great trajectory, and now all of a sudden you got in a relationship and now you got comfortable. And now because you got comfortable, you started gaining weight. You started not going to the gym as much. You started eating out more without having any sort of discipline behind what you're eating whatsoever. And then what I start to notice is that a lot of these guys, their wives will start cheating on them, their girlfriends will break up with them because that's not the person that they fell in love with in the first place. They fell in love with someone who was motivated, someone who had a drive, someone who had goals. But all of a sudden, a lot of guys will just get in a relationship and then be like, yep, I'm just going to throw in the towel now because I've already won. Now I can just have balance, right? But no, in reality, it's like she fell in love with the person who had their foot on the gas, the person who was ambitious, and you just essentially threw that all away because you got complacent. If anything, I see it like this, and these all my guys that have had a lot of success, not just in their health and fitness, but in relationships as well, they've noticed this as too. When you keep your foot on the gas, when you continue to level up and progress, you are now not only doing it for yourself, but you are doing it for that other person. You should want to be the best version of yourself for that other person, for your spouse, for your girlfriend. If anything, that should motivate you even more. It's not to, oh yeah, I have the trophy now, and so now I'm just going to hang up the boots. It's like, no, I have the trophy now. Let me try to be the best version of myself that I can be. And let me prove to that person that I can be a leader, that I can be a role model, that I have potential to lead our kids, to raise our kids, that sort of thing. The guys who have success, the clients that I train that are fathers, they have figured this out. They have been able to win the game, so to speak. And through that has completely eliminated their loneliness. It's pretty crazy because after training for so many years, I like to build a genuine relationship with my clients because the more that I know them, the better that I know them, the better I can also help them. And plus, it's more fun in that way too. But hearing all these stories over the years and then especially having so many private conversations with so many guys that are just like, dude, I'm depressed. I don't want to be here anymore. I feel so lonely. It's literally crippling. I literally go to the gym as my therapy. The amount of times that I've heard that, it's shocking. It's baffling. And the thing that I tell my clients is that it's not a bad thing to actually feel these things. In fact, I think that's one thing nowadays that a lot of guys assume is that you need to not feel some type of way. But I don't think that's the right way to look at it. I think the feeling should be there and you should not be closed off from feeling things. But at the same time, it's more so on how you react to those feelings and how you keep moving forward with those feelings rather than the idea of just that feeling in general. So like if you are feeling depressed, if you are feeling super lonely, like what are you going to do about it? It's not that you are the devil or you're evil or it makes you any less of a man because you feel some sort of way. Those emotions, you can't always control that. You can only control your actions that come after you have already had those emotions. For example, I don't don't think a lot of people know this. Actually, a lot of my close clients don't even know this, but like I used to have insane anger issues and rage to the point where like everything that I was able to accomplish for quite a while was based off of pure rage in itself. And that's not healthy at all. That's a very quick way to burn out, especially during that lonely period of my life where I thought rage was like the only emotion I was pretty much feeling. It was either like, oh yeah, I'm chilling, I'm happy, I'm content with things that are going on or hanging out with people. And then all of a sudden, like the moment I'm alone, like I am lonely and I am raging, and this is what's making me productive. And I realized that I couldn't accept the fact that I felt those weaker emotions. And so I would just always default to anger because I knew anger was productive and anger would get stuff done. I didn't want to feel depressed. I didn't want to feel sad. I didn't want to have those stronger feelings that were not as productive as anger has been. And I just genuinely thought that was a manlier way to go about things, and that's how things should be done. But I was actually completely wrong about that. And it did not serve me nearly as much as I thought. I do think there's a certain amount of productivity and leveling up that it helped keep me motivated with, I guess you can say. But I never really got to process a lot of those feelings, and I never got to process the emotion behind that. But having you feel that emotion, having you feel that loneliness, having you feel that sadness and kind of longing for somebody else does not make you any less of a man whatsoever. If anything, it actually shows that you are human and you can feel those things. It shows that you're actually more well-rounded. I don't think I was very well-rounded. I was either like very happy or like very angry. And that's, two very contradictory points, but it didn't make me dynamic, and it didn't give me the ability to adapt accordingly. It was either things are going great and I'm going to be super smiley right now, or things are going terrible and I'm going to be ticked off my freaking rocker for the next 12 hours of the day, and I'm going to be absolutely exhausted and burnt out from it. So I've had a few conversations recently with a lot of guys regarding this, and I just wanted to say, I honestly didn't even want to make this video, but I felt like there was a need to do this just to kind of speak my mind and to share with some of my own guys have been feeling, and just to show that you guys aren't really alone either. Like for those guys that are out there feeling that same way, that doesn't make you any lesser. That's not a bad thing to feel this way. It's just more so like, how are you going to react to it? Because you quitting, like it's really tough to lose if you don't quit. And I think a lot of people forget that. Like you quitting on yourself, you giving up on your fitness journey, you giving up on trying to get some sort of promotion or maybe getting a new job, like that's defeat. And that is weakness. It's not the fact that you lost is weakness. It's the fact that you started giving up and you just don't care about your goals anymore, and you don't even have goals set up in the first place. That's true weakness. But letting yourself process certain feelings and certain ways of waves of emotion are completely normal. It just really sucks to see the amount of guys out there that look super happy and they pretend they're super happy and a lot of things are going great for them. But then when we have these private conversations and they're like, dude, I literally like don't even want to be here anymore type of mentality, like that really sucks to hear. But the good news is that when you continue to focus on yourself, when you continue to level up and just do what you can do, freaking find God, get healthy, practice building that confidence as those things come with you, that becomes so much easier to actually go about your day-to-day life. And what's pretty sick is that through your day-to-day life becoming easier, through your confidence increasing from getting healthy, getting lean, that sort of thing, finding God, that allows you to start attracting more anyways, to where you have not just more quality but quantity on top of it, and at least a higher chance of finding somebody. But once you do find that person or your person, don't get so comfortable to the point where you completely fall back and you are not holding the same standards that you did previously. Just because you have the woman does not mean you get to completely cruise the rest of your life now. That means you should actually put your foot on the gas if you actually care about her, and then show what you are capable of, because now you are that same person, but you have a level of support that is only elevating you. That is something that a lot of guys forget, and a lot of guys will make the mistake and completely fall backwards. So like I said, I am not a relationship expert, but I am a fitness coach. So if you are looking to get lean, to build your confidence so you have a much higher chance of not being lonely the rest of your life. There's a one-on-one coaching application in my description down below. Feel free to fill that out. Tell me you came from this video. Let me in a little bit on your situation. I'll reach out to you. I'll see what I can do for you, and then we'll go from there. If this video resonated with you or helped you in any way, be sure to drop a like down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.